Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloe in Abuja. Our attention today is going to be about Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. From the issue relating to our recall to the probe on sexual harassment allegations by the Senate Committee on Ethics and what transpired, the shouting match that we saw, the words that ensued, what really caused it, what was the matter? We have someone who witnessed the whole scenario who is here in our studio. And one of the constituents who says that they want to bring back Senator Natasha Akpoti from the Senate, the reasons behind it, the allegation that this is being sponsored, and all of those issues. Tonight, we'll break them down for you. Stick around with me. But first, let's take you round your world of politics in the political roundup.
"39 Constitution amendment bills have scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bills cut across various sectors, including judicial reforms, electoral matters, security and policing, inclusive governance and legislature, among others. Some of the proposals include a bill for an act to alter the Constitution to provide for the establishment of state police and local government police. Also included is a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution to provide that general elections to the office of the President, state governors, National Assembly, state houses of assembly, and local government area councils shall be conducted simultaneously on the same date to be determined by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Edo state government has continued to take steps to boost agriculture and food security in the state with the cultivation of 3,000 hectares of farmlands in the 3 senatorial districts of the state, beginning with the cultivation of 60 hectares in Igoriaki Ovia Southwest local government area. Governor Monday Opebolo took a tour of the farm settlement with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, explaining that this is the first phase of the Edo Back to Farm project in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. A civil society organization, the Kimpact Development Initiative, is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission to move towards real-time campaign finance disclosure to ensuring that political parties and candidates report expenditures and donations before elections. Executive Director of the organization, Mr. Bukola Idowu, stated this while presenting the 2024 Edo and Ondo Election Finances Report in Abuja. He notes that the Commission should also strengthen its monitoring and enforcement mechanisms, including collaborating with financial institutions to track large political transactions, the establishment of the Campaign Finance Monitoring Unit within INEC with a mandate to investigate opaque funding networks.
We need to seriously enforce this, or else we are sliding into what we call, what it means is that it is the money that will now be determining the winner of an election, and then will be determining how far a candidate can go in politics, which is supposed not to be.
The organized labor has strongly condemned the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, warning that it may be forced to take decisive actions that could disrupt national economic activities if the proclamation is not reversed within a reasonable time frame. The threat is contained in a statement jointly signed by the TUC. The labor unions raised concerns about the legality, economic impact, and the consequences of the federal government's actions. The statement called on the President, National Assembly and Judiciary to take immediate steps to dialogue and reverse the state of emergency and reinstate the suspended elected officials.
Thanks so much everyone for staying with us. It does look like the allegations leveled by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who has been suspended by our colleagues, and Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan has been making a case for herself over issues relating, private issues relating between her and the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. So there was the Senate Ethics Committee who sat on the matter today, and it does look like things went awry when Senator Onwamboyi, who is a spokesperson of the Senate, the deputy spokesperson of the Senate, and Dr. Obi Ezekwe-Sili, one of those who are supposed to be a witness in that matter at a public hearing. it does look like some words were exchanged and got people angry, and it got into somewhat very unfriendly use of language today. But a bit of what transpired is what I'd like you to see, perhaps. Those of you who have come across some of this, you might be able to have a glimpse into what really happened today. And at some point in the program, I will allow you to understand what really was behind the background, what led to the hot exchange of words. But take a listen to some of this.
You are an insult to womanhood. And you are here to tell the world that you have not changed. You are here to tell the world that you have not changed. At 70, you have not changed. And there's nothing to take it. I will not take it. That is why you can never be here. People like you can never be here. People like you can never be here. How can you be? How can you be of you? You are a hooligan. You are a hooligan. So you will be here. You don't insult me. The Senate, the committee chair, you sat in your seat and the senator attacked you. And you said to keep my mouth shut. Who are you to say so? Who are you to say the presiding officer? Who are you? I asked to be put on vote. And you refuse. And you cannot. You have to stand this man. You are here to disturb the floor. It's okay, madam. It's okay, madam. It's okay, madam. But you have to respect yourself. Shut up and take him out. Smell him out. Smell him out. You look like a dog. Look at you. Fool at 70. Fool at 70. Please. I've been a senator.
All right. There's yet another video, a portion of these that I'm going to play to you earlier, because those will be wondering what exactly caused the odd exchange of words. A senator and a former minister of education, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, and perhaps what some of those who were there said caused it was maybe an interruption in the submissions being made, and led to those. But let me allow you to listen to one person who was on the floor at a session today. It's an advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Monday Ubani, who is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, Leonard Sick, for joining us tonight.
Shegu, after many years, thank you for having me.
Good to see you again. It's been quite a while.
Thanks.
What exactly would you say caused that? Because a lot of Nigerians will be wondering, a distinguished a senator of the Federal Republic and a very distinguished personality in our society, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. Whatever that's transpired and led to that kind of situation must be worrisome. What you sat beside, you sat in between, you were sandwiched in between the two, the gentleman and the lady, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili and Senator Uwamboye. What triggered it?
You know, today is the continuation of the Ethics Committee on the hearing of the petition that was presented by one of the constituents on behalf of Natasha, because the first petition she presented was very defective by virtue of the fact that it was in non-compliance with the rules of the Senate. So she now presented a proper petition that was signed by a constituent, you know, and then the investigation and hearing started last week. They tried as much as possible to ensure that opportunity is given to the petitioner to be in the Senate in order to adopt and give further evidence on his petition. So it was when the proceeding was going on that we found out that, I mean, he came with his lawyer in the person of Professor Abiola, my good friend, and then Dr. Ezekwesili Obi came also, says she's a witness. They asked her that, well, as a witness, no problem, she will have to take an oath, you know, after the petitioner must have adopted his petition. So I want to cut it short. So it was in the course of the proceeding that the chairman of the committee made a statement which the distinguished Senator Nwebonyi, agreed with. So Obi got angry, Obi Ezekwesili got angry and asked him to shut up his mouth. That is actually what led to that altercation. It was Obi, I'm a Christian, and one of the things I desire in life is that I must make heaven, and that is the truth. And I wouldn't like a situation where somebody will want to come and lie against any person. Obi herself made a very uncomplimentary statement, against me as a person. But being a man, I didn't respond. I didn't even look towards that direction. I felt that maybe, she's angry, concerning this matter. This matter is a bit, people are emotional about it and all that. Rationality has taken a flight. They don't want to look at issues from the rational point of view. No problem. But the point is, when this proceeding was going on, it was Obi's, Ezekwesili's interjection and asking the distinguished senator to shut up his mouth that actually provoked the man. People react to issues differently. Maybe I would have taken a different, but he felt that she shouldn't speak to him in that way. So that's what you see. Of course, Nigerians won't see that. Already I heard that they're very angry with the senator that he was bullying Obi Ezekwesili and all that. I was there. I was trying to even calm her and said, Madam is all right. And then even the senator, because for me, that was not necessary. They have a petition, and they have come to present. The world wants to know what is the petition allegation against Senator Godswill Akpabio, and they should come now and present it, and they are being given that opportunity. So the issue of now, bringing quarrel and creating scene and creating all that content was not necessary.
To be clear, Senator Nwebonyi is a witness in the matter at the hearing.
At the hearing, so he was
Dr. Obi Ezekwesili is a witness in at that hearing.
At that hearing too.
Dr. Abiola Akeode Afolabi
is a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. The counsel
to the petitioner.
To the petitioner.
Yes.
And I'm seeing the as laid, the affidavit, I don't know if you have a copy, as laid by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, which is titled A Petition Against Senator Godswill Akpabio for Sexual Harassment, Abuse of Office, and Obstruction of Legislative Duties before the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions. Part of the petitions and some of the headings of the petitions include sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malice. Those are some of the segments of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan's allegations against, which was contained in an affidavit which was laid before the committee. But the lawmaker wasn't present, but she swore on this affidavit and submitted before the committee. But the question here is that there was also another part to it. Now, Senator Mozoen, who is the chair of this committee, we understand now that he's going to be stepping aside. Is that right?
No, I don't think that. What happened was that the petitioner was saying, they started with the allegation that they have a senior advocate of Nigeria that is biased, so he can't be in this. So I don't know who they are referring to. So when they got to the fact that, look, this is not true, that there is no person in the committee that is actually, biased, against them, they now they also referred to Senator Nwebonyi. Senator Nwebonyi is not a member of the panel. He came as a witness and all that. So eventually they zeroed in on the chairman himself, that he himself is also biased. At the time, they were even saying that all the members of the panel was also biased. And I felt, look, this is a standing committee. You have made an allegation and is referred to that committee. So you come here now to present your petition. Adopt it. You have already written the petition. You adopt the petition and then expatiate, because you, the petitioner, must have been explained to by the person who swore the affidavit, that is Senator Natasha, that this is the facts. These are the facts and all that. Then you will be in a position to say something and then call all your witnesses. That is the proper procedure. But the petitioner refused to adopt his petition. He was alleging that all of them are biased.
Procedurally,
yes.
Should the petitioner be present to adopt when there is a counsel to
in this case, the petitioner is actually the man who signed the petition. But he has Senator Natasha as a witness who will expatiate what happened, because she's the one making that allegation as a witness. And then maybe Obi Ezekwesili, who says she's a witness, also will give evidence. But she cannot give any evidence without the petitioner adopting his petition. That's what,
so that is what is stalling.
That's what they're asking. Adopt your petition.
Was the petitioner present?
He was there. The young man was there.
So why was he not able to?
He was alleging bias. And we are saying, look, you have brought this petition before the Senate. And the Senate has referred this particular petition to a committee, a standing committee. They cannot constitute an ad hoc committee to hear this matter. It's already a standing committee. So you go ahead and present your petition. And, you know, call your witnesses. At least the television, all the television houses were there. Because what they did is to make sure that all the media houses were there in order to witness, in an open manner and in a transparent manner what the issues are. Because all over the world, Senator Natasha has gone over the papers in the world, all over, in order to make all these allegations. And I told them when I appeared in Channel with Professor Abiola, I said, look, has she done the right thing of bringing this particular petition before an institution? There are institutions she can go to. She can go to the police. She can go to the judiciary. She can go to the Senate. That it is better you follow this particular complaint through a structured manner, which is what they did now. Because after that, my advice, the following day, she came with the petition, but unfortunately, it did not comply with the procedure of bringing in a petition, so they now corrected her. She went and did the right thing. Now that the petition is before the committee, you present your petition and then allow the respondent now to rebut or to agree with you and that. And that was a golden opportunity because all over the place, people are asking, oh, you do carry investigation and you guys cannot kill the matter and all that. We said, look, there are procedures. The committee is going to look into it, and everyone will be given an opportunity to come and expatiate whatever the allegations are.
I imagine that this is not even a judicial panel. This is not a quasi-judicial panel. Yeah. This is somewhat an administrative panel between in an institution. So, so it doesn't have all of the powers.
Well, I don't know what they mean by because you take an oath. If you lie,
so
if you lie,
does it make it a quasi-judicial panel?
Yeah, it is because you take an oath, and if you lie, you can be taken up. If you lie.
For perjury.
For perjury, because
and that's why they are laying their feet.
You must take oath. You must go ahead now and expatiate. They're not. To me, it was a
let me ask this question because if it's a quasi-judicial panel, and when there's an allegations of bias on the panel who is supposed to adjudicate or bring justice into the matter. Can the matter go forward in a proper judicial procedure naturally?
Let me just tell you.
Because the concept of natural justice has now been brought in.
Let me tell you about the issue of bias. You allege bias. It's not in every case you allege bias that the judge, recuses himself. He can recuse himself if the facts are very, very obvious. That if he goes ahead to hear this matter, there is likelihood of somebody looking at it and say justice has not been meted out. There are instances I have, probably put up an application and asked a judge to recuse, and he said, no, the facts are not sufficient enough for me to recuse. You can go ahead with it. But if he feels that there is sufficient evidence, he can recuse himself. What was the evidence that was being given by the petitioner? I heard him loud and clear. He said that the chairman of the committee made a statement that the petition was dead on arrival. And that was explained that was the first petition that Senator Natasha presented that did not comply with the rules of the Senate. And they told her, as long as you are the presenter and also you are the signatory to this particular petition, it will not fly. So the right thing to be done is go and read the rules and then comply. And she did. Immediately she did the right thing. The petition was accepted by the Senate. It was laid on the floor of the Senate and referred to an appropriate committee. And that is the committee that is sitting today. They sat last week. They couldn't get to the petition. And in order for him now to expatiate on the allegation that he has brought. But unfortunately, he was now alleging bias. And we're saying, what is the bias? Oh, that he said that the petition was dead on arrival. And I said, look, which of the papers said it? Was it with the new petition or with the old petition? That was not explained. And the man says, in this matter, you must adopt your petition first. Even if you adopt your petition and call your witnesses, and at the end of the day, it's found out that I'm biased, of course, the man can recuse himself. There are many distinguished senators that are in that panel. There is even a senior advocate of Nigeria that is in that panel. Is a member of the panel, and is a distinguished, and is a senior advocate of Nigeria. And there are so many other members of the distinguished senator that are members that could also preside. Many of them were there. So my take is that what I saw today was a situation of people that were not ready to go ahead with their petition. And that is, I may be wrong with my conclusion, because they came with a petition, and that opportunity is being given to them now to really adopt the petition and then prove all the things they have alleged in their verifying affidavit. right? And then give opportunity to the respondent also to reply. That's how this procedure. And they told them, look, we have a procedure here. We must follow that procedure. We cannot depart from our procedure. They made that clear.
A judge recused himself from the matter, another matter, well, similar anyways, where the petitioner is also Senator Natasha against Senator Gosu Akpabio, and there is a new judge that will have to take up that matter. And similar issues. Well, this time around, it was Senator Gosu Akpabio who now accused the judge of bias, which the judge has now recused himself from.
Maybe the judge found worthy, probably the petition to be worthy. That's why he said, look, I don't want to handle this matter. And you see there is an allegation of bias against me.
This matter is somewhat defeated on arrival, considering the fact that the people who sat in judgment against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, because her colleagues who suspended her, and she's gone around to say, look, there is this masculinity, this chauvinism, tendency to shut her down, to gag her, and these are the same people who are going to sit in judgment on our matter. Don't you think that it's a defeated matter ab initio?
Sheikh, I don't know how you want me to reach to that conclusion, because the point is that she has brought this particular petition before the Senate. It's an institution, and I said earlier that there are other institutions she can also approach in case she feels that the institution that she has approached, she doesn't have confidence in them. If she feels she doesn't have confidence in the Senate, she can go to the judiciary, she can go to the police. But she felt that the right thing to be done is, first of all, let me bring this matter before the Senate. Now, if we have submitted this petition before the Senate, who do you want the angels to come and decide the matter? Because you are asking me this question and you're putting me in a very... What do you want me to say?
So, no,
am I now to say that they should assemble angels from heaven?
Let's assume that there was a time there are the allegations against the bench, against the judiciary. And there are sometimes blanket allegations. Oh, the judges are corrupt, and those who are petitioning the judiciary, or those who are accusing the judiciary, at some point will stand before the judiciary or on a similar matter or on the same matter. So the question is that, do you want to get justice in the real sense from the people whom you have accused?
This question is hypothetical. The point is that she has brought her petition, and I want to say it with all sense of honesty, that she has brought the petition before a committee, before the Senate. The Senate has a standing committee. I hope you are hearing me.
Absolutely. No.
There is a standing committee that deals with matters like any, misconduct against a senator or between them. So they must be referred to a committee called ethics. Privileges and public petition. They listen to both private and all that, even matter that affect senators, right? So that committee is a standing committee of the Senate. So if you have submitted this petition before that particular Senate and they have referred to that committee, there is no other committee in the Senate that can handle except them. Now, if you don't want them to handle the matter, the other alternative is to go to court and expatiate this allegation you have made, right? Or you go to the police. You remember that this matter is alleging happened in 2023. And only resurrected after this issue of seat that was reallocated, remember? Now, remember that her husband was not even aware of this story until she was on television in order to announce all this, right? No problem. The point is that you have now had a golden opportunity to expatiate on this allegation. You've been all over the world. There is no television house in Europe and America that Senator Natasha has not been to in order to put up this allegation. Now you have a structured institution that can handle it, in your country. Now, why don't you now come boldly? Even if you don't succeed, there are other alternatives also where you can go to. So why would you now come and create... Because to me, what they did, they came with... They were aggressive, they were a bit, angry. And no, you have a golden opportunity. Now, in a structured manner, full of wisdom, gentlemen, this is my petition. These are the verifying affidavit. These are the exhibits.
Let me ask you...
And none of these things were done. So how do you now want the Senate to adjudicate on the matter?
In other crimes, these kind of allegations leveled against the presiding officer. In the UK, for example, we've seen Prime Minister resign on issues less than this. There are those who are saying Godswill Akpabio with these allegations and the fact that this matter has given Nigeria a bad name globally because of how this has gone. Is he also right to have the Senate President to have considered in settling this matter in other ways, or perhaps just stepping away from this matter?
To do what?
So
that
what? This there might be proper justice. Because sitting as a presiding officer, there are definitely those who think that there will be bias and there will be the matter might be defeated from the very start.
My take is that, you know, you mentioned in America, in London, you know, in such an allegation is made against any public officer, they normally, you know, want to maybe allow, you know, proper investigation to be done, which is also what the Senate is trying to do in this circumstance, you know. But there must be evidence, because I'm also curious, you know, to look at evidence that the person who has alleged this sexual harassment has presented. There are two things he has said, which, if there are sufficient evidence, I will be one of the persons that will advise Senator Godswill Akpabio to step aside. The first allegation is that on 8th of December, in the home of Senator Akpabio in Uyo, she was with her husband, and then the senator took them to all the rooms and then said, "Do you like my house? We would like to come back here for you to make me happy. You know, I'm the presiding officer." That is one of them. The second one is when she did not wear, you know, her ring, her wedding ring, and the man saw that she was not. Is there an invitation to treat? And that, according to her, those things were said in the presence of senators and all that. As I speak to you, there is no single witness that has been named. There is no single expert. There is no single text message. There is no single evidence in the verifying affidavit. She has an affidavit, because you have evidence, it's evidence.
All the allegations she's made are said to be verbal.
Verbal. They are all verbal, no corroboration. No single witness has been named. You look,
if there are issues of sexual nature, and these are verbal in nature, what kind of evidence?
Is your word against mine? That I told you that you come and make me happy. That means sexual harassment. Or I see you didn't wear any ring, and I say that is an invitation to treat. That is sexual harassment. Now let's even assume, but not considering that is evidence of sex.
That is sexual harassment. Actually, when a married man tells a married woman that he should come make her happy, make him happy.
We don't know what happy. What manner of happy is? You know, is it to sleep with him? Because when he says come and make me happy, or is it come and cook for me?
Immoral at that point.
You can read it to be that it has to do with sex. It may be come and cook for me, or come and have a nice, but whatever it is, I'm not considering that. But I'm saying, who witnessed? Is it your husband was there? You didn't tell your husband, according to her. We're going to the merit of the case now. You didn't tell your husband these things until 2025, when your seat was reallocated and all that. So sentiment now.
These are some of the other things.
Yes, what other things again?
She said, quote, Natasha, I'm making reference.
Yes, to what he said at the Godswill said.
He said, Natasha, I am the chief presiding officer of the Senate.
Yes.
And you can enjoy a whole lot from me if you take care of me and make me happy.
That's allegation again. Word against both of them. Is there any person? Is it in written form? Is there any witness there? Now, in all this, her allegation is that she could not perform her duty as a senator because the sexual advances were rejected, rebuffed. This particular senator was voted as one of the best senators this year by Arise this day because of her performance, because of opportunity given to her to perform in the chambers. She did move several motions. There is a synopsis of all her contribution, both on motions, both on bills. She has a bill that is on second reading. She was the one that moved the motion for the investigation of Ajokuta still, and then a committee has been set up. They visited even the site on issue of corruption. She has so many things. She has made several contributions. She was one that announced the death of one of her, titled, Eze, or chief, or Oba in her environment. And there are so many. There are so many. If you see what she has done, that is why Arise, and this day, made her one of the best senators in the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2024-2025. So if she was not given that opportunity as a result of sexual harassment, how could she have attained that level? What I'm trying to say, in effect, is that I am not making light of whatever allegations she has made. She has brought this petition now in a structured manner. She has followed instruction by bringing it up. So this golden opportunity has been presented to you by the Senate. Why don't you go ahead and say, these are the allegations, these are my evidence and all that. Don't assume that they will be against you. Because by the time you assume it, why did you bring it in the first place? You brought it before. They must look at it.
Let's wrap this up in this manner. And I'd like to ask you, because this is getting so dirty and perhaps at this stage of our democracy, I'm not sure we should be talking about sexual advances other than discussing our policy and governance
and it's making undermining what the Senate and all the the House of Rep they're doing, even under the dispensation. We are undermining it, we are reducing it and all that.
And I'm going to ask you most sincerely, so that efforts and resources are not spent in and time are not spent in what could be a trivial matter in the real sense if people are not going astray in their duties.
Correct.
How do you think, this is on a final note, that your final word if you made tonight, what do you think, or how do you think this matter can be laid to rest? And perhaps, if it's a political solution, right, how can this be laid to rest?
God will bless you.
Or resolved,
let me say this. We have had issues on the floor of the Senate and even the House of Reps, where there are disagreements and all that between senators and all that. Then the next thing is that they come together and say, I am sorry. And then the matter is resolved. It has happened even with Senator Godswill Akpabio. There was a time he had such an altercation with the former Senate president. But when he was explained, oh, look, this is the proper procedure, he said, gentlemen, distinguished senators, I'm very, very sorry. I got it wrong. So I felt that with the altercation that took place on the 25th of February on the floor, that it could be that Senator Natasha was angry, and she's a human being to be angry and all that. That the following day, she can come back and say, I'm sorry for what transpired, because many senators came to her that day. You watch it on national television. I said, madam, it's okay, go to the seat. From there, you can address. She refused and said she doesn't want to listen to any person. She went to Berekete radio. No problem. She could have still come back to say, I'm sorry. She now said she's going to appear on her rise, and the whole world should watch her. The next thing is sexual harassment. So you begin to ask, do this person want this matter? Then the next thing you went to IPU. The next thing you went to BBC, Sky News. Why are you externalizing all this?
So what I'm saying
that this thing should have been resolved. Because many persons have come. A lot of institutions. There's a vice president of a country in Africa came over this matter and said, look, Mr. President, we want to have this matter resolved. President said, look, I am not against any resolution of this matter. I am open to it. But go and talk to Lady Natasha. If she wants this matter to be resolved, she knows where that matter can be resolved. Come back to the Senate, where she is elected to represent her people, and say, I am sorry. And this matter with that. But you want to insist on proving your sexual harassment. Nobody's asking you to step down on it. Go ahead now, your opportunity has been given to you. Or if you don't believe in the Senate, go to the court. If you don't believe in the court, go to the Nigerian police. But if you don't believe in I don't know where else to go.
But can the Senate, legally speaking, this case has gone to court, can the Senate panel continue?
Now, the matter is also sub judice, remember? But they still want the situation where they can even go ahead to hear the matter on merit. Because they ask the young man, okay, go ahead and adopt your petition. We want to hear you, right? And they refused to adopt this petition.
So is the action of the Senate committee sub judice? Because if the case is in court and you are hearing this...
No, they have not made any ruling yet.
Okay.
They have not given us what
the case is presented.
What I'm saying is that the committee will not give us a report based upon what transpired today, whether they are going ahead with the matter, or whether the matter is sub judice, or whether they are making any ruling on the matter. But the point is that the petitioner failed the golden opportunity given to him to adopt his petition. He refused to adopt it and all that.
Thank you so much indeed. Mr. Monday Ubani, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is also a witness in that matter today, who saw it all. Thank you so much indeed.
Sheun, thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Honestly, long time.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I hear you're a lawyer now.
Thank you so much. We'll go on a break, everyone. But when we return, one of the constituents of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan will be speaking with us. The reasons behind their decision to wanting Senator Natasha back home, they will be telling us. The allegations that they are being sponsored by some political or some politicians. They will be telling us more about that after this break, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. See, on the Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's matter, some of his constituents were saying over the last few days, gathering signatures with the aim and the agenda of recalling her as stipulated by law. A recall of a lawmaker is possible according to our laws, but there are procedures and regulations regarding that, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, which is the electoral umpire, is saddled with the responsibility to be able to administer that recall process. So today, INEC says that it has received a petition to recall Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan by some members of some constituents, according to the Commission's Regulation and Guideline for Recall of 2024. INEC says the petition from the Kogi Central District was accompanied by 6 bags of documents to be signatures collected from over half of the 474,554 registered voters spread across 902 polling units in 57 registration areas in the 5 local government areas of Adavi, Ajakuta, Ugoremagongo, Okeyi, and Okene. But there are issues with that petition, as details of the contact of some of the petitioners as stipulated by the regulations are absent. Let's speak with one of those who are behind of the petition, Bello Ivava. He said to be a Kogi Central activities live for us in our studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Ivava, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Are you one of those who are being sponsored to recall Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan?
We are not being sponsored. That's a very wrong statement. We are not being sponsored by anyone.
So, because there are those who spoke on camera who said they were being asked to come and engage in an empowerment scheme, but it turned out to be that they are now being asked to gather signature or put their signature for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's recall.
That is not a statement of fact. You see, Barrister Natasha Akpoti is known for pushing the wrong narration. Let me establish how she came on board. She contested with Engineer Abubakar Ohere, and she lost that election. And one way or the other, she got it through the court, and no one can contest that. And the expectation about her was very high. But today, she has not done anything different or anything new. To our dismay, what we see her do in the National Assembly is engaging in altercation and against constituted authority. And we as a people of Kogi Central, we have high pedigree. So, and she has not represented the character we are made of. So this is how...
What local government are you from in Kogi Central?
I'm from Ajakuta local government.
You are from Ajakuta. Yes. And Ajakuta is interestingly not so far from Okene,
yes,
where Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan is from.
Yes.
So she's your sister?
She's my sister.
Would you consider her as a performing senator?
She has not performed.
In what sense?
You see, we expect her to have vital contribution in the National Assembly. So far, so good. The issue of tax reform, she didn't have any contribution on it. The policies of the government that is not favoring people, she didn't have any contribution. What we see her do is chasing shadow, sexual harassment issues, and this is not what we expect from her.
What, did you witness the empowerment program she did in December, January? Did you witness it? Did you see it?
I witnessed that empowerment, though I have my reservation about that.
Well, you don't like it?
She has not done anything new.
No, I'm asking you specifically about the empowerment program. You don't like the empowerment program that she did for our constituents?
I'm not saying so. I have my...
But it's a good thing about empowering our people.
It's a good thing,
the
but
food,
we expect something
the skills acquisition and some of the materials given to
most of those things are propaganda, to be honest. Because after the empowerment, we start hearing all sorts of news that it were fake. All those things were brought to the camera, and at the end of it, they did not share it to the people. These are the rumors all around. And there was serious heat about that.
But you're a member of the APC, right?
No.
You're a member of the PDP?
I'm not a member of the PDP.
What party do you belong?
Is that question relevant in this?
I'm asking you a question. I mean,
no, I just want to know how is it relevant to the...
It's relevant because I determine what is relevant to the conversation. We invited you for this conversation.
I know. I'm only curious to know why you're asking.
I'm asking because if you say you're a constituent member,
yes,
you're a registered member, a voter of Ajakuta,
yes,
in Kogi Central,
yes,
probably at some point you might have participated in some political activities.
Yes.
Perhaps the reason why you do not appreciate Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's empowerment efforts.
No, that is not the reason. You see, I'm a realist and a patriotic citizen of this country. I will not discredit her on any ground. I'll tell you what is practical, what we experienced with her in Kogi Central. She only faked those empowerment.
So you don't think that Senator Natasha is performed at all?
She has not performed.
What were your expectations?
Our expectations were very high considering her manifestos. She promised heaven and earth. Today, she has not done any of that.
You are an Ajaokuta man.
Yes.
Are you privy to the motion she moved on Ajaokuta State Company?
Is for her interest, honestly.
How?
You see, Mr. Shem, Natasha has shifted her focus. She's been distracted with some personal interest in the National Assembly.
What are these interests? Because I'd like to know.
Okay.
I mean, if she moved a motion that the situation surrounding Ajaokuta State Company should be investigated, how is that a personal?
Same person said that we are not staff in the Ajaokuta State Company, whereas there are over thousands of staff there. Those people, if the federal government would have scrapped that, they would have lost their job. So such a person, I think she has other motives behind those bills. What she promised us is not what she's giving us. And why, I think we should even focus on why we are recalling her. So
why are you recalling her?
I think that should be the major thing. We are recalling her because, in fact, she has... Are you with me?
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Okay, we are recalling her because she has bring disrepute to us as a Kogi State Central Senatorial District. We as a people, we have respect for constituted authority. And what we see her doing today at the National Assembly is against our doctrines and teachings. So this is why we decided to recall her, let her come back home, so that our elders can teach her some.
Do you have anybody to replace her if you want her if you want her recalled?
That question is coming too early. The process.
So you don't have any option. You just want her out of the Senate.
We have other good people, but I'm only saying the question is coming too early for now. We are focusing on how to make sure this recall exercise is being successful. Then when we get to the bridge of who is going to replace her, we'll get it right.
So you said that she is against and not listening to constitutional authority.
Yes.
So your judgment of wanting to recall her is based on what transpired between her and Senator Godswill Akpabio?
Not really, not just that. We think she has an empty ego. Empty ego in the sense that she lacks self-awareness. She has some a self-inflated sense of importance. The issue is so simple. Apologize to the Senate, change your seat. She is against the rule. The Senate is guided by rules and regulations. She refused to apologize because of her ego. So we cannot continue
we wonder that as constituents of Kogi Central, if your senator is facing this kind of situation, you will support her, especially because now she's a woman.
If she would have come back to us, till this moment we are talking, she has not come to organize any town hall meeting to tell us that this is what has transpired, what are your contributions. We have elites. We have our contribution, we advise her, tell her, or she will even tell us reason why she doesn't want to apologize.
Why were some of those who were donating or putting their signatures being given money?
That is not true. You see, that Natasha and her group, Senator Natasha and her group, has a way of pushing the wrong narration.
But those who said they took money, they gave them money at this instant. You did not collect money, is that what you're saying?
There was nothing like that. This video is fictitious. We don't know where it emanates from. Look, we have series of...
This is the same form that people was... you don't know any of these people?
I don't know them.
You don't know the signature, the same signature and the petition that was submitted to INEC?
Have you seen the petition submitted to the INEC? How will you say these are the same
No, but you collect signature in a form.
Yes.
Your name, your voters' details, and your signature. Is
the
that
original videos of those people who come out with enthusiastic to append their signature are there. This is a very fictitious...
Do you think this is going to be successful?
Yes.
This recall?
Very well. It's going to be successful because our people are desperately willing to pursue this to the end. They are so disappointed.
This is not the first time a Kogi senator they are moved to recall his Kogi senator. Senator Dino Melaye faced the same thing.
This is a different case. This is a different case. You see, down to the grassroots, even the non-elite among us, they have their ears to the radios. They are well informed about the attitude and gross misconduct of Senator Natasha. And at the end of it all, we are going to be helping Senator Natasha. Because when we recall her back, she will have the time to face her sexual allegation or sexual harassment issue in the court. but we just want her to live there. Let someone who can represent us credibly should come.
But the people voted for her.
Yes, and she has disappointed people. The same people are recalling her. I voted for her. I did.
How many signatures were you able to collect?
Over 250,000 signatures, and that is constitutional requirement. So
over 200,000.
250,000.
Over 250,000
yes.
Out of the over 400,000.
Yes.
Are you aware of how many people who voted in that election, that central district?
No, I can't have. I'm not aware of that.
It's just about 40-something thousand.
I can't recall.
It's about 40-something thousand.
Okay.
Are you curious that if 40-something thousand people voted and you have 200-something thousand people recalling her, does it raise any?
You see, this time around, people take it so personal, because we as a people we have, as Avelia said, we have high pedigree, and we don't appreciate when any of us is bringing disrepute to the land. So this is why everybody is out. And let me also tell you, there was high sensitization. We use every available means and media outlets to sensitize our people, so they are well informed about her gross misconduct. And referencing to her track record before now, she has, one way or the other, did all of this in the local politics. And we thought it's because of internal issues, how we have blackmailed Yabelu and others. So when she now takes same issue to the National Assembly, so we understand that, okay, it's of no good for us. So this is how we come to realization that we have to recall her.
Just in a moment, in the course of the program, we'll also be allowing our viewers to have a sense of what happened on the side of Senator Nwamboyi, who will be joining us in a moment, because Senator Nwamboyi and Dr. Obi Ezekwesili are the exchange, and Senator Nwamboyi is live for us here in the studio. Senator Nwamboyi, thank you so much, Disunyi, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for the opportunity.
What really happened today? That was senatorial, if I could use that word, undistinguished. How would you shout down a woman? How would you shout down a distinguished member of the society, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, even at our age? Why?
Well, it is an action that brings up a reaction. And you'll hear from me first before you make such a erroneous conclusion. It's erroneous on your own side. Oh. And I'm here to give you
erroneous that she's a distinguished person.
And I'm a sitting senator.
Yeah, I made that.
I'm a sitting senator.
So I'm wondering.
So listen to the action that brought the reaction.
What made you do? And that's the question.
Today, we appeared before the Senate Committee on Public Petition. Senator Natasha was invited with her witnesses to come and prove allegation of sexual harassment against the Senate President. I was also invited as a witness to the Senate President to also rebut her falsehood, the false claim of hers. So it started when she was asked to be on oath, because she said she was a witness. He said, no, she can't be on oath. She can't take oath. So as a person, I said, okay, I'm willing to be sworn on oath so that I can give my own evidence. I was addressing the presiding officer, the chairman of the committee, and she turned to me and said, will you shut up your mouth? A sitting senator in the Senate, that I should shut up my mouth?
That's what aggravated you?
Yes. And I said, no, ma. Withdraw that statement. He said, will you shut up your mouth? You're a hooligan. I said, you are the hooligan. For a mother like you, a grandmother of your age, a former minister of the Federal Republic, to tell a sitting senator to shut up his mouth and to add that I'm a hooligan, then you are the hooligan. In fact, I went for her to describe her as in fact, let me not use that word again.
No,
but I respect her as a mother.
Yeah, but do you regret the scenario which played out?
How can I regret the scenario? I gave it to her.
But is that fair?
Is this fair for her to address me that way?
I mean, you could be offended, but as a man and as a senator, I mean, if you are offended, would you go in the same?
As a former minister of the Federal Republic, a grandmother, ask her first.
And I'm saying that it is human to err,
yes.
And without hearing
if she erred, it is a male.
Without assuming that, I mean, to whatever allegations or whatever you said, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili said, yes. Because we've not heard from her side. Yes. But I'm saying that even if she offended you, yes. You have come of age too.
No,
if someone offends
I merely replied to her.
But you were emotional.
How can I be emotional? She was also emotional. Emotion jumps emotion.
But do you regret that kind of thing happening between both of you? This is happening on national television.
It's unfortunate that a mother, a grandmother, a person of her standard can be so moved by emotion to call a sitting senator a hooligan, and that she shut up my mouth. When I was asking for clarification from a presiding officer, I was not addressing her. I was talking to the Senate Chairman Committee on Ethics. So I have no business with her.
If she apologizes to you, would you also?
Of course I will. I'm a Christian, and this is a Lenten period. But you cannot insult me. You cannot abuse me. And you ask me to keep quiet.
Why is this Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's matter emotional? Why
we should ask them. These are people that have been clamoring that they were not given opportunity to prove their case. The opportunity came. The petitioner started by saying that the committee is biased and she cannot lead evidence. I said, why can't you lead evidence in your case? You already have an affidavit. Just adopt the affidavit. He said, no, just from one flimsy excuse to the other. Just like Obio Kwesili. She says she's a witness. Take oath so that you can tell Nigerians and the whole world all you know about this case. She said no.
Senator.
They actually came to disrupt the cities.
Senator, I'd like to ask you, in all of this, there are feelers as though there is a chauvinistic tendencies going around in the Senate, and that some of you who are men in the Senate do not have the air of patience or to accommodate the feminine voice in the Senate. It doesn't portray the Senate well.
That is wrong. Everybody has equal opportunity in the Senate, be you a man or a woman. In fact, in the Senate, there is no woman. We are all equal. Senator Natasha, who alleged also that the Senate president is silencing the voice of the female senators. This is a woman that have moved up to 6 motions. This is a woman that has to her credit 3 bills. The records are there. I can send it to you black and white.
The allegations on the day that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is talking about,
yes.
You were present in that house.
I was there.
You were behind them.
I was the closest person to Senator Natasha. In fact, let me give you
an account. The husband was between...
Let me give you a brief account. On that fateful day, when we landed at Victor International Airport, as God will have it, I drove in the same vehicle, her vehicle, from Victor International Airport to the Senate President's house after attending other series of programs in New York that the SP invited us. We retired to Senate President's house in the same vehicle. When we go to the house of Mr. President, I remember vividly, she was complaining of her shoe paining her. She stayed back with the husband. I went up to meet the Senate President with other senators. Senator Stengu was there, Senator Dan Kwambo was there, Senator Sam Obedo said over 20 senators were there. The man took us around his garden and gave us a dinner. When it was 12 midnight, we all sang birthday song in honor of the Senate President. There was never a time the Senate President held her hand as alleged and made any unholy advances to her. It never happened in that
But you were not, but there were 2 of them.
I was
there. Is there a word against the Senate President, but you were not at the moment, in the moment which she was talking about.
I was there at that moment.
Because she said her husband was right behind them.
She was always with her husband. If you watch the video, which I'll make available to you, she was at the right back side with her husband.
Would you say that the Senate has been fair? Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is said not to have been invited. Fair hearing comes to play.
She was invited.
Was she invited to
She was invited.
Was she invited?
We wrote her a letter.
Did you see the letter of invitation that was changed?
Of course.
And the sitting was brought back and they sat, and on that
I don't know about that. I don't know about I got my own invitation as a witness. Her petitioner got her own invitation. I believe she got her own invitation to be there.
Is it possible, Senator, because we are totally out of time, is it possible that you and your colleagues consider a political solution to all of this? This is messy and it's giving the Senate a bad name.
If you watch, no, it's not giving Senate a bad name. It's giving Senator Natasha a bad name because she is trying to prove the impossible. And remember, this is the same woman that have accused other prominent Nigerians of sexual harassment. And I'm disappointed that media is not going towards that direction. You people are not objective in your reportage. This is the same woman that accused one of you, Reno Mokre, of sexual harassment. When the young man brought her evidence that He was in America when the same harassment happened. You don't say anything about it.
Senator,
this is the same woman.
we need to go, Senator. Yeah.
No, you need to go into
Senator,
those ones because
is there a possibility of a political solution to this?
If you watch the suspension terms, we'll give a room for political solution. If she realizes her mistakes and tenders apology,
all right,
not just to the Senate President, but to the Nigerian Senate.
All right, Senator, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That's our show for today. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Okimale. God bless Nigeria.